Welcome to Fables and Fairytales Studio, where magical stories come to life. Today, we present the classic tale of Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, in a small cottage on the edge of a great forest, lived a poor woodcutter and his two children, Hansel and Gretel. Their stepmother, a cruel woman, was always hungry for more and often made their lives miserable. One day, when food was scarce, the stepmother came up with a wicked plan. She suggested to the woodcutter, "Let's take the children into the forest and leave them there. There will be no room for them here." Hansel overheard their conversation, and though he was afraid, he whispered to Gretel, "Don't worry, I have a plan." That night, he filled his pockets with small white pebbles, hoping they would help them find their way back. The next day, the woodcutter took them deep into the forest. As they walked, Hansel secretly dropped pebbles along the path. When their parents abandoned them, Hansel and Gretel waited. As night fell, the pebbles sparkled in the moonlight, leading the children safely back home. The stepmother, furious, tried again. This time, Hansel and Gretel were left with no pebbles. But clever Hansel used breadcrumbs to mark their way. Unfortunately, the birds of the forest ate the crumbs, and the children soon found themselves lost in the deep woods. As they wandered, they came upon a strange sight, a gingerbread house covered in sweets and candy. Hungry and tired, they began to nibble on the house, unaware that it belonged to an old witch who loved to trap children. The witch appeared and invited them inside. "Come in, my dears. You must be starving," she said with a wicked grin. The children, not knowing her true intentions, stepped inside. The witch locked Hansel in a cage and fed him well, hoping to fatten him up. Meanwhile, Gretel was forced to do the witch's bidding. Days passed, but Gretel was clever. She tricked the witch into believing Hansel was too thin, and the witch grew impatient. Finally, one day, the witch decided to cook Hansel. She told Gretel to check if the oven was hot enough. "But I don't know how," Gretel replied. The witch, growing frustrated, bent over the oven to check herself. That's when Gretel pushed the witch into the oven, locking the door behind her. The children were free. They quickly escaped the witch's house, and as they walked through the forest, they found a treasure chest full of gold and jewels. Overjoyed, they made their way home to their father, who had realized the error of his ways. Reunited, Hansel, Gretel, and their father lived happily ever after, and the wicked stepmother was never seen again. Thank you for listening to Hansel and Gretel here on Fables and Fairytales Studio. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more magical tales. Until next time, may your dreams be filled with adventure.